I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I already did my outro, and then I was going and recording the Talent and Constellation review, and I was like, actually, his cryo damage is kind of impressive, even though he's not really built for cryo right now. And I was like, okay, I gotta explore him as a cryo DPS as well. And I'm really glad I did. Bonjour Muglets. Today we're raising Freminet. I know I'm a little bit late to it because the crabs are really annoying to farm. They're mostly underwater and it's just kind of, yeah. We should have most of what he needs. There's probably a little bit of farming still required, but you know me, I'm always somewhat quick with it at least. There's level 40, second star, level 50, level 60, and yeah, we're already missing some of these transoceanic chunks. We'll see what we can do at the crafting station. Not much, and we need to save some of the little ones for talents. Let's make 13. Come on, I need like 14 bonus sucrose. Oh, well, there's the fourth star anyways. As it usually is with the raising mode, we're gonna probably stop at 70. Although we only got one Freminet, so God mode would be a ways away. But yeah, let's check the shop. I think it has reset since the last character. I'm like 99% sure. Yes, indeed. Here we go. We can get 45 little and 35 greens. If we were super desperate, we could buy some here, but I really hate doing that. Let's keep him at 70 for now and start raising his talents. I've heard he can be sort of a hybrid cryo and physical DPS. So, you know, if we are going to explore both of those Freminets, then we're gonna have to raise pretty much everything. I mean, all of his skills do sound somewhat important. Maybe if we're not, you know, specifically looking at him as a physical, then his basic might not be as important. I usually want to get all skills to 6. I don't know if we have all the books necessary to do so, to be honest. So if we got to leave his basic at 4 or 5, then so be it. Yeah, unfortunately, we have even less books than I thought. Come on, Eula. I really actually need at least 1 or 2 bonus here, please. We can get his basic to 5. And then only 1 skill to 6. Yo, hold the hell on 1 second. What is up with this? C3 increases his normal attack? He's the first character that does that, right? I'm not out of touch. That's very odd, isn't it? Okay, interesting. But anyway, now that he's raised, let's do the talent and constellation overview. His basic attack is what you would expect of a greatsword user, though he does do a cool little anime dash before his final hit, which is nice. Charge attack is Beyblade, like most of the other 4-star greatsword users. I would say his elemental skill is kind of the core of his kit and everything else sort of buffs it. This is in a sense a transformative skill as well. He will start by doing a cryo attack and then enter Purge timer for 10 seconds. While in this Purge timer mode, his elemental skill will change, depending on the amount of basic attacks you do while in this mode. In a nutshell, the more normal attacks you do, the more powerful his next elemental skill cast will be. Going all the way up to level 4, level 4 is naturally the strongest and is pure physical damage, but in between level 0 and 4, it's a mix of cryo and physical. The lower the level, the more cryo damage he's dealing. The higher the level, the more physical he's doing. So if you build him like a cryo DPS, then you're basically just going to be wanting to spam E whenever you can, get a level 0 attack in there and do cryo damage. Though in Purge timer mode, when you're doing normal attacks, you are also doing intermittent cryo damage, so he's going to be doing cryo damage regardless. Within his kit and constellations, there's lots of buffs to this in particular. For example, his first passive, if you do his elemental skill before it reaches level 4, the cooldown of his next elemental skill cast will be decreased by a second. And with his second passive, if he triggers Shatter, which is basically a claymore attack against a frozen opponent, the damage of his elemental skill will be increased by 40% for 5 seconds. At C1, the crit rate of his elemental skill will be increased by 15%. At C2, he'll restore a tiny bit of energy when doing his elemental skill. This definitely seems better for the E-spam cryo Freminet. So yeah, lots of buffs for it. Definitely the overall core of his kit. Moving on to his ultimate, this is basically another buff for his skill. The burst does start off with a cryo attack and then it sort of gets him into another state, which essentially buffs his skill. His resistance to interruption is increased. The cooldown for his elemental skill is not only reset immediately upon doing burst, but is also decreased for 70% for those 10 seconds. The normal attacks you need to do to increase the pressure level also become more effective, increasing the pressure level by an additional 1. The cryo damage his normal attacks unleash are also increased to 200% of their original damage. Besides that, we also have C4, which doesn't play into his kit at all. It's just an up to 18% attack boost when triggering Frozen, Shatter, or Superconduct. C6 is actually the same as C4, except it's just up to 36% crit damage instead of 18% attack. And finally, his exploration talent decreases the aquatic stamina consumption, so you can zoom around underwater quite a bit more. But yeah, with his talent and constellation overview out of the way, we're gonna finish up his talents. We're probably gonna get pressurized flow just because it seems like it is the sort of core of his skill. It does basically basically increase all the multipliers. I am torn between normal attack and pressurized flow, to be honest, because you will have to do a lot of normal attacks as well. He does seem to be a main DPS at the end of the day. All right, but there's his skill at 6. As for build, I usually like to stick to 4-star weapons, but I feel like when it comes to DPSs, when they're going to be at level 70, you know, I might just help them out a little bit with an R5 Wolf's Gravestone. Very free to play friendly. All right, fine. We'll give him Blackcliff Slasher. It is level 90, but you can technically get this as a free to play. It's not a battle pass weapon. It's like a star weapon. Probably not really worth it, but it is like the most DPS-y weapon I have right now. We could finally get around to R5ing our Serpent Spine and raising that, but that is definitely not free to play because it's battle pass and then it's 5 of them. But yeah, to be honest, I'm not expecting too much from our Freminet today. It does sound like he has some potential though once he's higher Constellation and level 90. I'm at least going to start off with him being built more physical-like and basically just doing his elemental skill when it's at the max level 4. What I could think about doing is giving him a Cryo Goblet, but 4-piece Pale Flame. Because I mean, just the 4-piece Pale Flame will give him 50% physical damage bonus, you know? I know I do have a decent Pale Flame set, nothing like absolutely insane or anything, but it's like workable. I like that I have every single element of Goblet except Cryo because for circlets we only have crit rate, and I think I'll have enough crit rate from substats, but we'll just do this for now and go off-piece Cryo Goblet. Let's try this one from Ganyu with 20 crit damage. I mean, it's not horrible. We could go and get a C1. It's basically just 15% crit rate for pressurized flow. So you know, I think with C1, we'll definitely have enough crit rate, over 80% when he's doing, you know, his actually big attacks. But I guess this is the build we are going to be starting with, seeing how it works. His attack is pretty pitiful there at 1735. As for team, we will want some form of Hydro and or Electro for Superconduct, Freeze, Shatter. I also would kind of like Rosaria in there. She buffs physical. We could have Kuki or Official to supply the Electro for Superconduct. I'm leaning a little bit more towards Kuki because you know, I like to have a healer in my teams. But I mean, going with Kuki and Xingqiu makes it a full 4-star team. Considering Rosaria would also increase our crit rate by about 15%. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, dude, 21 crit damage at +8, let's go. I wasn't even really planning on including this in the video because I was just gonna roll it like, okay, maybe if it goes to crit damage on the first roll, I'll give it a try, and then it, boom, goes to crit damage on 2 rolls. Yeah, now flat def, now def percent. Ah, big sad, big sad. It started off so well. This one really doesn't have anything on it besides 9.7 crit rate, so yeah, I guess we'll trade the 9 crit rate for 20 crit damage. It still should be enough crit rate with Rosaria and his C1. Usually I'd go straight to Masanori, but we do have a battle event going on here, so desperate difficulty. We got to get everyone's burst, but let's start with his E, I guess, and then start increasing our PERS timer. There we have the penguin. Oh, I guess we missed it or something. We have Rosaria's burst, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. We can go ahead and do his E again, and then go into burst mode. There's the penguin. I don't know if I missed it again. Yeah, I haven't really been able to see anything yet. There was a 21k. All right. I mean, not that impressive, but maybe we'll see something a little bit later. There was the penguin again, but I keep seeming to miss it. 25k I just saw. Hey, well, we did it with, I think, 45 seconds to spare. So that's something. There is one bigger difficulty after this, so steadfast, I guess. I highly doubt this will work with the team, to be honest. But also, it's just 4 Mystic Enhancement Ores. We'll try it just for fun, see what happens. Yeah, no, this isn't gonna work. We're at 2 out of 14 with a minute and a half left. Also, I don't think we're necessarily missing the penguin attack. I think it does it by itself. I must have missed reading that somewhere. Yeah, I am seeing like 25 or so K. That's like the most I see though, honestly. Yeah, we got about halfway, which is something, I guess. I'm wondering how big of a difference giving him like a gravestone would be. Yeah, not a ton, honestly. I mean, the fact we lost 55 crit rate or whatever does hurt also. Now, I saw 35k there, so it's definitely doing more, I guess. I mean, we did a little better. I think we got 8 opponents this time, so yeah, but there's 0 chance, I think. I will go ahead and give him this back. I mean, we could just go ahead and do Rosaria's burst. Go to Frem. Wait till the penguin pops up, which is now 16, damn. All right, with burst now, let's check it out. I think that was another 16. And now it missed. Yeah, the penguin just goes like straight forward, and if the enemy moves, it's just going to miss them, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, because in that challenge, we were actually getting 60% physical damage bonus when we got hit for 6 seconds. So the damage was already inflated there. Well, there was a 20k, so a little bit better. But yeah, it does seem like it can miss pretty easily, which is honestly pretty annoying because as a greatsword user, he's not attacking that fast. But yeah, base damage is 12.6k with none of my other teammates or boosts. It's been a while since I did any Superconduct stuff, so I just kind of want to see how that changes with just Superconduct. There, he has Superconduct. All right, let's check this out. 14.8? It's like 50% whatever physical reduction. And we get like 2k extra damage for that. Maybe it's just that for this in particular, Masanori isn't a good test subject. I did find a website that puts Masanori at minus 20% physical, actually, like the rest of the samurais. So we definitely have to do something else for this test. Like, I need to find a boss with at least sort of normal resistances, at least physical. Actually, looking through an enemy resistance list, there are very few enemies with normal resistances, especially when it comes to physical. They're all over the place. Wolf boss, he has 10% resistance across the board, besides being immune to cryo and animo, but that doesn't matter. We're just looking at the physical and what Superconduct is doing, really. So, normal 4 attack does 10.1 on a 10 resistance enemy with no buffs, no weapon buff, no anything buff. Superconduct, I just saw Superconduct. We're about to get one shot, but it doesn't matter. Here, stop moving please for 2 seconds. Here, all right, 13. Okay, that's not a very big difference, even on a normal resistance enemy. I guess when the numbers get big enough, it's going to be a bigger difference, of course. I don't know, somewhere between like 18% actual damage increase. I'm wondering, like, what about Binny? I am 99% sure his strongest little penguin attack thing will still do physical damage, even if Freminet's normal attacks will probably be doing pyro then. So we have no buffs currently. No one has been killed yet. We're gonna do the E on no one. Ugh. Okay, so still 83-31. So we're just gonna plant Binny's burst down here. Go ahead and do the E and 3 slashes. And then try and hit one of these hilichurls. This one works. Yeah, that makes a pretty big difference from 8 to 14k. Just straight up attack boost. We are going from 17 to like nearly 3k with Binny, so it's like, yeah, for his final little penguin attack in particular, I would say Binny is one of the better buffers, but that would also take away the physical he's doing with every normal attack. I'm not sure if it would actually take away the cryo though. That would be something to look at. Yeah, we're still doing the extra cryo attacks. I guess this is just to say I'm not sure Superconduct is really worth it unless, you know, you have a specific electro you want in your team anyway, and then Superconduct is more of a bonus at that point. Like, I think Fischl would work fine as well as a sort of off-field sub DPS. I'm really not surprised he's not doing a ton of damage right now. I'm always very conflicted when it comes to raising modes for damage dealers because it's like, yeah, of course, they're far away from their full potential, having, you know, low level and low skill. And I don't think he's anything special. His kit is pretty interesting though, with the purse timer and the stacking stuff there. But to be totally honest, if you have good 5-star DPSs, I don't see the point of investing in him. He doesn't bring anything special to any team comp that I can think of, since the only thing he does do is damage. There's nothing that he can affect any other team with, you know? Before we wrap it up, I do want to quickly explore his potential as a cryo DPS as well. But in this case, he's really going to be more of a burst DPS because he can't really spam those cryo attacks without, you know, being in burst mode. So yeah, he already has a cryo damage goblet, which is of course one reason why his physical attacks weren't doing that much, but we were exploring mostly like hybrid. I think we did pretty consistently have 50% physical because you can do his skill quite a lot. We could at one point explore full physical as well, you know, with like a physical goblet, but I would be more interested right now in like pure cryo, maybe trying to do some melts in there as well. Golden Troop is what I would have given him for like a god mode, but I feel like god mode's going to be quite a far ways away. I'm also not sure about the 4-piece set. It is another 25% skill damage, which is probably the most important, but another 25% when they're off field, and he can't even be off field. He will have it for 2 seconds once he spawns, so maybe like that first one he does before going into burst or whatever could work, have a little bit of extra damage, but we would have a pretty sick cryo damage goblet right here. I mean, we should at least give him 2-piece, I would say. And that cryo goblet, actually pretty juicy. We're gonna go ahead and enhance it. Flat HP, please leave it alone. Crit damage, I'll take it. Another crit damage, okay. Yep, there's the flat HP at 16. 25% chance and you have to go for it. I don't care what you go to, just not HP, please. Thank you. 26 crit damage on a on-piece goblet. See what happens to this one. Seems decent to start off with. Got a attack and crit rate and energy recharge as 4th sub, so it could actually be pretty solid. Another crit rate roll, okay. Final roll is energy recharge. I'll take it. I mean, if he's gonna be a cryo burst DPS, he does need some energy recharge, I suppose. So yeah, since I don't really want to raise a full set for him, we're gonna go 2-piece Golden Shroop, 2-piece Blizzard Strayer. Decent little 28 crit damage on this attack Sands, I'll take that. I just had a funny thought. Since we are like completely ignoring physical damage now, I wonder if we could take Benny. He could apply the pyro himself before doing the melt. I don't know if it's actually gonna work like that, and he has so little elemental mastery right now, but his stats actually are quite a bit better than they were before, I would say. 60 crit, 173 crit damage, still have the 1700 attack. We are gonna stick with the 4-star, even though a part of me does really wanna just like make him as good as I can at level 70, you know? That's not really the point of raising modes, but I do actually want to keep Benny in there. I'm not thinking too much about the team. I just want to see what he can do. I kind of want to go back to the challenge, actually. Let's actually do horns blaring, drums rolling, so that our damage isn't really affected. Like burst damage is going up, but we're mostly looking at skill damage. So we'll just do the desperate difficulty, I suppose. All right, but here we go. We can start with the E here. I guess we're just going to pretty much do it immediately since we're trying to get the most cryo damage. So we're in burst mode now. Oh my god, wait a second. We're actually doing a lot of damage. That was like a 40k I just saw. Whoa, son. Hold up. Why are you still alive though? We ended there with the 23, I think. But geez, that was actually good. But yeah, once his burst is gone, we gotta swap back out to everyone else and do their stuff, of course. Come on. 68k. I know it's increased, but still, that was pretty impressive. He probably would need a lot more element mastery to make his melts more impressive also. But let's just do a mercenary fight or two. All right, we can go ahead and do his burst, which still did 51k. There are no bonuses here. Whoops. Yeah, I really shouldn't be, I gotta get used to that. You're basically just supposed to be spamming E, and that did 24k there. I think Benny was already gone, maybe. The burst itself was doing some decent damage though, like 60k's in there. And he's still pretty weak in terms of like level and skill talents and stuff, you know? 53k, nice. 23k E, and we can basically spam the E during burst mode. Well, with that being the case, my first impressions are a lot more positive than they were on the first outro. I mean, of course, a part of that is because he's just built better than he was before also, so I'm not sure it's really fair to say, yeah, he's just way better as a cryo. But honestly, I would personally rather have him as cryo anyway, because it's just a lot more versatile than physical. There are so many enemies with tons of physical resistance. It doesn't really have any good reactions like Cryo does with Melt. So that's what I would vote for. Burst Cryo DPS Freminet. Overall though, at the end of the day, he is a 4-star DPS. So he will always have that limitation. Most 5-star DPSs are just going to be straight up better than he is. But yeah, I guess that'll do it for today's video. Make sure to tell me what you think about Freminet in the comments down below. Leaving a like or subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.